Hey y'all, welcome to Paige's Perspective, where I help you find your inner strength to cope with life. This week's episode, I'm going to discuss the truth about judgment, why it's necessary, and where the line is. This episode has been in the making for a while because it's honestly something I've had to really reflect on, because in the space we're in as being advocates for partners and spouses of addicts, I can come in a bit harsh with some of my content, and I recognize that. However, at this point in time, I will continue to do what I do because I'm judging behaviors that are meant to be judged, for self-preservation. I'm trying to bring awareness to how these behaviors actually harm people. I'll get into it a bit more in a sec. So let's just start with this. Judgment isn't the problem. Lying to yourself is. Judgment is one of the most misunderstood concepts in personal growth and relationships, in my opinion. Society pushes the idea that judging others is bad. But in reality, judgment is an essential skill for survival, for making decisions, for protecting yourself, for staying safe. It's a natural human behavior. But people who struggle the most in toxic relationships are often the ones who were conditioned to suppress their judgment, to second guess themselves, to give people the benefit of the doubt, even when they've been burned repeatedly. So the goal of this episode is going to be how to reclaim your judgment as a necessary tool, not a flaw, help you recognize when you're being gaslit into ignoring your instincts, and show you where judgment crosses the unhealthy territory and how to avoid it. But first, we're going to talk about why we are conditioned to think judgment is bad. There's some childhood programming that goes along with this, the be nice trap. A lot of us were raised in environments where being nice was emphasized over being honest or discerning. And these are some common messages that we probably heard growing up. Don't judge others. Nobody's perfect. Or if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Oh my gosh, I used that one so much. And I was raised on that one. You should always give people the benefit of the doubt. While these ideas are meant to encourage kindness, they have also conditioned people, especially women, to ignore red flags, tolerate bad behavior, and silence their instincts. So instead of being taught how to judge wisely, many were taught that judging at all makes you a bad person. I teach my children how to judge wisely. It's not a bad thing. It doesn't make you a bad person when you judge. There are cultural trends as well that push for radical acceptance. Modern culture has swung hard into the live and let live mindset, where any form of judgment is seen as intolerance. And the fear of being labeled judgmental has led people to avoid calling out obvious harmful behavior. And this creates a paradox because we're told not to judge others, but society is constantly judging people anyway. Social media thrives on the cancel culture, where people are shamed for the smallest mistakes, yet in everyday life, we're told to never judge anyone's choices. So these contradictions keep people really confused, and they're told to be endlessly compassionate, but the world just doesn't work that way. Sometimes guilt and shame may be used as manipulation tactics. So some people weaponize the fear of judgment to keep others silent. So if you try to set a boundary, you hold somebody accountable, you basically call them out on their shit, they may flip it back on you of, you're being so judgmental. You think you're better than me. Wow, you're really negative. Reality is, calling out harmful behavior isn't cruel. Recognizing that someone is harmful isn't superiority. Choosing not to engage with someone who's destructive isn't being closed-minded. There's also religious and moral teachings around judgment. There's some religious or spiritual teachings that emphasize that only God can judge, and this leads people to feel guilty for assessing someone's behavior. The idea that we're all sinners is often used to excuse patterns of abuse, addiction, manipulation, just some harmful behaviors. While it's true that no one is perfect, that doesn't mean that all behavior is equal. Some people harm others, and judging their actions isn't a moral failing. It's common sense. Radical compassion can be dangerous. There's a growing cultural push for unconditional understanding, endless empathy, and infinite chances. Compassion is important. It can become dangerous when it does enable harm. Some behaviors should be judged. Some behaviors are not just differences in opinion. They are harmful or outright abusive. Pretending otherwise is only going to enable them. So I'm going to go through a list of just some behaviors that I feel, it's necessary to judge. Abuse, physical, emotional, psychological, verbal. These should be judged and not excused. People who normalize abusive behavior often claim, nobody's perfect. And this is deflection. And emotional, psychological, these types of harm and these types of abuse can be just as damaging as physical harm. Sometimes it's even more damaging. It takes a long time to heal from those scars in your mind. Chronic lying and deception. Lies destroy trust. Trust is the foundation of every relationship. Whether it's compulsive dishonesty, financial deceit, secret double lives, deception is a reason to judge someone's character. If someone repeatedly manipulates facts, they are proving that they are unsafe. The disregard for others' boundaries. People who push guilt or who push guilt or manipulate others into doing the things they don't want to do should be judged. Boundary violations are a key indicator of control issues and entitlement. Infidelity and repeated betrayal. Cheating isn't just about sex. It's about dishonesty, broken trust, selfishness. Someone who habitually betrays their partner without remorse is showing their true character. When I talk about betrayal, I'm also talking about the lying, not just the infidelity. This can be betrayal in friendships, in businesses, family relationships. Like these all fall in this category as well. And judgment isn't about being cold. It's about recognizing when helping someone is actually enabling them. So also addiction without willingness to change. Addiction itself isn't a reason to judge someone, but refusing to take responsibility for its impact is. Someone who denies their problem, refuses help, continues harming others with their addiction or the behaviors that go along with their addiction, while expecting endless grace is showing entitlement, not struggle. Judgment here isn't about punishing. It's about protecting yourself from their destruction. What about rage? If someone explodes over minor things or lashes out unpredictably, it creates an unsafe environment. Emotional instability isn't an excuse to terrorize the people around them. But let's be real. We all lose our shit sometimes. We do explode occasionally. The issue here is when it is the norm in your home. The pattern is there. There's a cycle. We all have days, but we haven't slammed doors, thrown things, lashed out unpredictably in a long time. It is not a norm in our home. Our home is actually a pretty damn safe place to be nowadays. But these are just some examples of some behaviors that I personally judge, and that's to protect me. Your instincts are meant to judge. Judgment is a survival tool. It is not cruel. It's intelligent. Your brain is constantly assessing people and situations for risk, trustworthiness, and alignment with your values. We are wired to pick up patterns to protect ourselves. We're wired to judge. So examples of healthy judgment in action would be like, okay, you meet someone new and they instantly give off red flags. You choose to keep your distance. That's okay. You notice a pattern of dishonesty in someone, so you stop trusting them. That's freaking normal. It is so normal to not trust somebody who is lying to you all the time. A friend continually drains your energy and you decide to limit your time with them. Totally okay. This is acceptable. So judging people's behavior isn't mean, it's smart, and ignoring reality is what leads to the suffering. But why can it be dangerous to suppress our judgment? When we ignore red flags because we're told don't be judgmental, it can put us in harmful situations. Many people in unhealthy relationships, bad friendships, or unsafe situations ignored their instincts because they were conditioned to believe judging was wrong. Trusting your instincts equals trusting your own judgment. So where's the line? Where is there healthy judgment and where is there unhealthy judgment? So healthy judgment protects you. It helps you make wise choices. It allows you to set boundaries. Unhealthy judgment is going to be when people utilize judgment to punish somebody or control somebody, or when it becomes a tool for shaming. We don't encourage anyone to seek revenge, to act in a way that makes you want the other person to hurt like you. That is not what we do here. Healthy judgment, an example would be this person repeatedly lies and breaks promises. I don't trust them and I'm choosing to distance myself. Simple. Unhealthy judgment, this person is trash. They don't deserve happiness. I'm going to make sure they never succeed. That's unhealthy judgment. I'm not one to punish or shame others. Some may say otherwise, but judgment isn't about that. If shame is brought on by calling out the harmful behaviors, that's not a me issue, that's a them issue. So we don't shame, but we do bring awareness to the harmful behaviors. It's all about protecting ourselves and doing whatever is necessary to get out of harm's way. I want what's best for even those who have shitty behaviors and are abusive. Like, I truly hope they get help. I hope they find peace. I hope they right their wrongs. I hope they take accountability. I hope they become the person they truly want to be. I don't wish ill on anyone, even those who have harmed me. That doesn't help me. But what I can do and what I encourage others to do is protect ourselves. Just because I wish them well doesn't mean they're going to be a part of my life. Sometimes the damage is just done and that's okay, but I know I can only control myself, and that means I can control distancing myself and still hold space in my heart in hopes that they seek treatment and be better for themselves, their loved ones, and even their future loved ones. So when some say I can be harsh, I'm being real and bringing awareness to how these behaviors truly impact others. It's not to shame. It's not to punish. It's not to be hateful. It's to allow others the ability to judge appropriately so they can protect themselves. So the key questions to ask yourself is your judgment protecting you or keeping you stuck in a cycle of revenge? Are you using it as a weapon? Are you using it to punish others? If you're using it to protect yourself, that is healthy. If you're using it to punish others, that is unhealthy. But we can switch it. It's okay if you do that. Shift your perspective. It's all good. But how is judgment weaponized against you in unhealthy relationships? So some people use judgment shaming to keep you silent. They'll flip the script and make you feel guilty for setting boundaries and sticking up for yourself and calling them out. So some of the common phrases would be you're not perfect either, or everyone deserves a second chance, or you used to love me, what changed? Guys, you're allowed to change your mind when new information comes in. We are allowed to change our minds. This used to kill me when Matt said this many, many, many years ago, because I thought, how can I trust you if you keep changing your mind? It wasn't until I realized that rigid thinking isn't helpful for anyone, and we're always allowed to change our minds when new information comes in. That's just being intelligent. You're not obligated to tolerate mistreatment. You do not owe unlimited chances to people who prove they won't change. Judgment is not the problem. Self-betrayal is. The people who tell you not to judge, they judge you every day. Trust your gut. Trust your experiences. And don't let guilt stop you from making smart, self-protective choices. Healthy judgment is evaluating situations, recognizing patterns, and making informed choices. Unhealthy judgment, using judgment to punish others. So instead of asking, should I judge? The better question is, am I using judgment to protect and empower myself or to tear others down? Judging isn't the problem. Misusing judgment is. I hope this episode was helpful. That's all I have for this week. Until next time, I'm Paige. Bye.